What's up guys, my name is Mike of Coed Gaming, and the PlayStation Vita has always been a huge topic of controversy among gamers. Ever since its initial launch in 2012, this console has always been one that people have sort of swept under the rug in favor of the much more popular Nintendo 3DS, and in a way, I can't blame them, because the Nintendo 3DS does have many games that the PlayStation Vita does not have and never could have because they are Nintendo IPs, and of course, the PS Vita is made by Sony. Now, the PlayStation Vita, made by Sony as the successor to the PlayStation Portable, based on the huge success of the PSP, was expected to do at least just as well as the PSP did during its heyday. Unfortunately, especially with the passing of E3 and the news that AAA games are not going to be coming to the PlayStation Vita, it's causing a lot of controversy and a lot of, quite frankly, sorrow from PlayStation Vita fans like myself that there are not really going to be that many more big games coming to the PlayStation Vita, and that has caused a lot of people to suggest that the PlayStation Vita is a garbage system and it just has no games, because you don't see those big names like on the 3DS coming to the PlayStation Vita. Now, as someone who owns a PlayStation Vita, and also as someone who does a lot of business in the import market, importing Japanese games over to the US, I have to say, that is not true. As we all know, Japan has a track record of making some awesome games that sadly never make it to the United States. And this is a huge example on the PlayStation Vita. In fact, many of the best PlayStation Vita games have not made it to the US at all. Not onto the digital store, not onto store shelves. Some of them have stayed in Japan ever since release, and I want to go through some of them. Here are some of the games on the PlayStation Vita that I think make it worth owning a PlayStation Vita. God Eater 2, Rage Burst, Taiko no Tatsujin for Vita, Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, Gundam Breaker 2, Sword Art Online, Lost Song, Dengeki Bunko, Fighting Climax, Persona 4, Dancing All Night, The Legend of Heroes, Zero no Kiseki Evolution, Hatsune Miku, Project Diva F1 and 2, and IA VT Colorful. Interestingly enough, some of these games have actually made it to the US, like Project Diva F1 and 2, but the only reason those games ever made it to the US is because of the huge cult following that Miku has in the US. For God's sake, there was just a Vocaloid concert in New York City just a few months ago. I mean, it's clear that there is and always was a following for Hatsune Miku in the US, and it's because of the fact that her name was attached to these games that they got brought to the US. But look at games like God Eater 2. I mean, if you've never played God Eater, this is kinda like the PS Vita's answer to Monster Hunter. It's a very similar concept where you and 3 other people can team up to fight, instead of giant monsters, giant demons. I mean, this is how the game operates. I've always thought this was a really cool concept, and Taiko no Tatsujin, it's a drum game, it's a rhythm game. I mean, how many rhythm games even are there in the US anymore? They're pretty much done. There was a big spike in them a few years ago with Guitar Hero and Rock Band, but that's pretty much over. And then you got the Gundam Breaker games. I mean, Gundam has always been huge in the United States. I mean, Gundam used to air on Toonami. The fact that the Gundam games don't come to the US is kind of weird. Sword Art Online, a hugely popular anime in the United States. Why would that not come here? I don't understand. Persona 4, Dancing All Night. I mean, it's a spin-off, so a lot of people might not want it, but the fact is the Persona series is popular in the US, I think popular enough to warrant a game like this coming. Then you have IA VT Colorful. Now this is interesting. This is another rhythm game, but it follows a different formula than Taiko no Tatsujin and the Project Diva games. It's a very arcade-esque type game. Wouldn't surprise me if this was an arcade game in Japan, because, you know, Japan has all the best arcade games. Remember something. These games never come to the US. Some of them do, but most of them don't. And because of that, so many people don't see these games for themselves. They don't get to see all these great games that the PS Vita does get. It's just we, as Americans and Europeans as well, for the most part, do not get them. Japan gets all of them. But that's why I tell you, if you have a PlayStation Vita, import these games. The PS Vita is region free, so it can play anything. Import these games. You will see the PlayStation Vita is a worthy system to have, but it's being forgotten because of a lack of AAA games. But you gotta remember something. The Vita and the 3DS, they don't need AAA games to be good. These are portable systems. AAA games are made for the home consoles and the PC. The portable handhelds, these are built for smaller games, and that is what the Vita does perfectly. Like rhythm games and JRPGs. There's so many great JRPGs on the Vita that I encourage everyone to check out. Just Google some of them. Google PS Vita JRPGs. You will find them. I am telling you, the PS Vita is worth having, especially if you're a fan of Japanese games like myself and love collecting imports. While you're at it, make sure to check out the rest of Coed Gaming. And as always, take it easy. What's up guys, thanks so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you haven't gotten a chance to already, make sure to check out last week's video, which can be found right here. Also, if you haven't gotten a chance to already, make sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. And while you're at it, make sure to check out the rest of Coed Gaming, where we upload gaming videos every single week. And as always, game on!